Good evening to all of you. On behalf of the Department of Applied Mathematics and Computational Science of Tyagaraja College of Engineering, Madurai, I have great pleasure in welcoming the chief guest for this inaugural function, Professor Sushmita Mitra, Full Professor Machine Intelligence Unit of Indian Statistical Institute, Kolkata. Welcome you, ma'am. I have great pleasure in welcoming all the external participants, internal faculty members, PhD scholars, and student friends, and the members of organizing committee of this AICTE online Atal 6-day faculty development program on deep learning and computer vision in the field of clinical research. I am sure that the participants will make the best use of this opportunity provided by the AICTE through our department. We have identified the best resource persons for all the 6-day schedule, and you might have received the different topics that would be handled by the external experts during this 6 days training program. I welcome you all once again. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Now I request to honor. So, to inaugurate this FTP, we are honored to have Dr. Sushmita Mitra, ma'am, professor at the Machine Learning Unit, Indian Statistical Institute, Kolkata. She is globally recognized expert in machine learning, soft computing, bioinformatics, and medical image processing with over 30 years of research experience. She has authored seminal books such as Neurofuzzy Pattern Recognition and Data Mining, Multimedia Soft Computing, and Bioinformatics. A recipient of multiple prestigious awards, including the J.C. Bose National Fellowship, IEEE TNN Outstanding Paper Award, and Fulbright Nehru Senior Research Fellowship. Dr. Mitra ma'am has specifically contributed to AI-driven disease diagnostics and bioinformatics applications. She is a fellow of IEEE, the World Academy of Sciences, INSA, IAPR, AAIA, IASC, and INAE, and NASI India, and serves as an associate editor for multiple high-impact journals. With over 150 international research publications, her expertise has shaped the field of data science, deep learning, and medical AI applications. She has held visiting professor positions at University of Alberta, Meiji University, and Aalborg University, further solidifying her influence in the field of AI. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Mitra ma'am, who will deliver the inaugural address followed by the keynote talk on the role of AI in clinical research.
Thank you so much. So do I have to talk now or later?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so the inaugural address. Okay, thank you so much for having invited me, Dr. Parthasarathi. I'm very honored to be the chief guest in this Atal FDP program. So the topic of this course is very timely. It is very important in the current scenario because India is working on using AI in different aspects, becoming AI enabled in different aspects of life, particularly in digital health. And this particular workshop pertains to that. Today, you have AI apps which can explain in very simple terms if a patient submits a medical condition. And it is all possible in today's scenario, given the huge development that everybody, including India, has been making. For that, you need good training mechanism, first of all, because that is the part where the AI system or the open AI systems work. If the training is inappropriate, then the system will not function in the proper way. So the training has to be on proper, reliable data. And this data, particularly in medical research, we have the data from the world, but not much of data which is specific to the Indian population, because our genetic build is different from non-Indians. Let's say from the for the Caucasian people or the African people or the Chinese people, we are not the same genetically. So it is very important to develop India-specific data and reliable data such that the medical facilities can be reached to the entire population all over the country, particularly since we are a huge population-based country with a lot of the population in the remote villages. So mobile applications also become very important so that it becomes accessible to the huge, to the public of different levels, of different social and economic strata. So that is the objective of digital health, which is one of the prime focus in India's AI movement. So with that, I thank you once again, and to the organizers for organizing this particular program, which is so very timely. And it will, I do hope that the participants will benefit widely from it. Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot, ma'am. Ma'am will also be continuing her talk on the role of AI in clinical research.
So should I continue now?
Yeah, ma'am, yeah.
So do you have the PDF? I think I put it in the Google form, or I had to upload the talk, or do I share my screen? What do you prefer?
Is it possible for you to share the screen, ma'am? If not,
yeah, let me see. Let me see.
Yeah, okay.
So can you see where is my screen? This is the desktop.
Yeah. Yeah, ma'am, your screen is visible.
Okay. So can you see?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Yes, madam.
Yeah. Okay. So what is the time of my talk? Actually, this is a longer talk. I'll reduce it accordingly. So what is the time I have? Please let me know. So do I end at 6:30?
Just a minute, ma'am.
Let me know. Then I'll accordingly.
Yes, ma'am. Your session will be ending at 6:30, ma'am.
Okay, so we will go like this. So what is digital health, and then what is AI and learning, some brief introduction with some of the applications that we do. So digital health has got a huge diversity. It has lab tests, it deals with the proteomics aspect, imaging aspect, the mobile phone aspect, looking at the vital signs, genomics, and the devices, social media, and so on. So if you look at the emergency department, it's got limited resources, it's very much time sensitive, and it needs critical decisions. And there is huge data in the emergency department. So you have electronic records for over 3 lakhs emergency department visits. So you have the triage information of text, then maybe the comments from the expert, specialist consults, physician documentation, then these repeated vital signs, continuous values, lab results, which are continuous valued. So you see, you've got huge volume of multimodal information, which needs to be taken care of at real time. You cannot take 1 month to give a decision, because in the emergency department, it has to be arrived at immediately so that proper steps can be taken. So you have demographic data based on the age or gender, socioeconomic status, lifestyle, then the medications taken, then over time, how the patient is functioning, progressing, maybe longitudinally over 10 years, how the system is, how the treatment is progressing. Then there could be medical claims, again, based on the treatment, the insurance. then the lab tests. So all these data come in. And a part of it may be needed for a particular application. Then there is temporal modeling of disease progression. You need to find markers of disease stage and progression, statistics of what to expect when. Then estimate a patient's future disease progression, how the progress will be of the treatment, how the treatment is progressing, whether any change has to be taken or not. Now, mobile devices therefore become very important given countries like ours, where we have a huge population and most of it is focused in the remote villages. So mobile devices started with laptops and PDAs. Then netbooks became an inexpensive option. Then tablets, smartphones, and mobile devices have emerged on the market. Then these apps have come up, mobile health applications. They have had a huge impact in healthcare because now you can in fact send the ASHA workers to the villages, remote villages, and they can take some, if they have the app, they can take up the inputs and propagate it, transmit it to the experts in the bigger hospitals in the cities. Now, the smartphone revolution actually is underhyped. More people have access to phones than access to running water. That is typically in India, maybe they don't have access to toilets, but they have access to multiple mobile phones. So we've never had anything like this before since the beginning of the planet. So what is this mobile health application? It is the delivery of healthcare services via mobile communication devices. To improve the delivery of healthcare, to improve quality and access, care coordination, lower rehospitalizations, improve outcomes, lower the infection rates, monitor the patient's status in real time. So many of these are unrealized possibilities. The types of these mobile health technology could be tablets, smartphones, apps, wearables, implantables. Tablets, they maximize portable technology in the patient encounter. You have point of care documentation, real-time care coordination, labs and imaging, patient education, therapy benefits, access to past medical history, countless additional benefits. So this is how a tab can work in the hospital also. Smartphones, these are ubiquitous in healthcare for care coordination, external device connection for testing and diagnostics, let's say for blood pressure monitoring, blood glucose levels monitoring, and using the smart apps. So these are ways in which the mobile devices can be used. These apps have a wide range in scope, online apps or on a device, health and wellness monitoring, diagnostic and testing monitoring, patient education, labs and imaging, social media integration. So these are the different aspects where these health apps can work, and they're used all over the world now. Wearables, they are most popular in the personal fitness space. You do some workout, you want to find out how much calories you have spent or what is your heart rate and how good is your heart functioning. You have them on your watch also. So you track and trend the activity levels, sense and analyze information from substance emitted from transdermal source, use social media to enhance user accountability. That is also peer pressure effect. So these are some applications where they're used. You can wear them in many places. Implantables. Implantables have been around but are being redefined. So possible vision correction and enhancement, vital sign or blood glucose monitoring. You put in something which is of the size of a code button and you can hold a smartphone and get the continuous glucose monitoring. So these are implantables. Relay information back to nurse, case managers or physicians. So if you have an implantable, then that information can be going back to a specialist sitting in the city, maybe. So remote inputs can be taken. Lots of diagnostic and monitoring potential. So these are some of the wireless implantable medical devices. So as a part of a technology thing, technology is not the panacea for the healthcare industry, but it is part of the solution. Is there any question? Somebody has put up a hand. So with that, let's move to AI. So AI is a program that can sense, reason, act, and adapt. Machine learning is a subset of that. So these are algorithms whose performance improve as they are exposed to more data over time. And deep learning is a subset of machine learning in which multi-layered neural networks learn from vast amounts of data. Now, deep learning and machine learning is shallow learning. Deep learning is the bottom row. So in machine learning, you need an expert to give you some handcrafted features. You have to extract the features and feed it to the classifier. That is the traditional pattern recognition since late 1950s. So you have to extract some features and you need an expert in between, which is expensive and time consuming. In deep learning, it's done automatically. It's got a trainable feature extractor and a trainable classifier. It's also called end-to-end learning, and it's fed to the classifier. So this is a conventional neural network, multi-layer perceptron, which is machine learning, shallow learning. When you convert it to deep learning, this is how it looks like, convolutional neural network. So you see how complicated, how much more complicated it has become. Therefore, you need much more data to train. And you need very high performance computing like GPUs to train deep models. Now, shallow versus deep learning, as I said, in shallow learning, you need handcrafted features. You require considerable engineering skill and expertise. Whereas the key advantage of deep learning lies in automatically learning the features, extracting the features. Now, why in medicine? Because you've got imperfect knowledge in medicine. There could be incomplete understanding of the biological mechanisms, imprecise test measurements, uncertainty of normal ranges of test results, simultaneous presence of multiple diseases, missing information. So you need some kind of intelligent learning or analysis, automated analysis, interactive learning or active learning. So there are different aspects to digital health in the terms of the medical data. You can have images, you can have genomic information, histopathological information, and many more. So radiomics, radiogenomics, and personalized medicine. Radiomics is an overlap between machine learning and deep learning, computer vision, and medical image processing and analysis. Personalized medicine is about offering the right drug to the right disease at the right time with the right dosage. Now, what happens is based on suppose you have the same group of patients with the same diagnosis and same prescription for a particular set of symptoms, based on the genetic information, the diagnosis or the impact of that treatment or medicine would be different. So for one subgroup, the drug could be toxic and not beneficial. For this, the drug could be toxic but beneficial. Drug is not toxic but not beneficial. And this is the best option where the drug is not toxic and beneficial. Histopathology is a diagnosis based on visual examination of tissue sections under a microscope. It is still the gold standard in cancer diagnosis, for example, in grading of cancer. Now, with the growing number of digitally scanned tissue slide images, computer-based segmentation and classification is a high demand area. Automated grading is important, but it is challenging because of the huge volume of data. There are many other challenges, like you see, this is a histopathology, a slide image. And if you expand this particular yellow square, you get more resolution. Again, resolving further, you get this. So as you resolve more, to higher resolution, you get more information, but you need more computer memory and computer performance also, which is a huge computational burden. Moreover, different pathological labs use different kinds of colors, and the images become different. Here you see it's blurred. Here there is a tissue is some kind of damage is there, tissue tear, and this is tissue folding, and this is the staining effect. So all these affect what the computer diagnose. And then the example of color variation as seen in different pathological labs. Although this is the same image, but you see for a computer, it becomes very difficult to distinguish between them. Therefore, you need some kind of active or interactive learning. So this is one of the research we did on prostate cancer histopathology images. So this is how the ISUP grading is done. So this is the whole slide image, and you take patches from there. And based on the patches, we fed it to a deep network, which was the efficient net here. And then we use this kind of a framework to arrive at a decision about the diagnosis. Some other applications that we did was segmentation and survival prediction in brain tumor, and detection of diabetic retinopathy from retinal fundus images. So here are two kinds of brain tumor images. This is the high grade and this is the low grade. Low grade obviously has better prognosis. The patient survives longer, while high grade has poorer prognosis, patient dies. It's very dangerous. Now, to the naked human eye, you see it's very difficult to distinguish between the two. Therefore, AI becomes very important. So we participated in a challenge in MICCAI, and we got a good position. So this is the UNet, which typically is used for segmentation, but we modified it to take care of the spatial information which was lost in normal UNet. So what we designed was the multiplanar spatial convnet. So there was a novel spatial max pooling layer which passed the maximum locations to be subsequently used during the unpooling operation. So this is how the tumor looked like, and the different parts of the tumor in the different sequences of the MRI, T1C, T2, and FLAIR. And the segmentation error around the boundary that had to be solved, and the false positive. So these were the two aspects we needed to solve. So we passed the maximum location along with the other information, and we used three two-dimensional multiplanar representations, and we use the consensus function to combine them. And class imbalance was a major problem that had to be handled. So we modified the loss function accordingly. And in the leaderboard score, we find that our group had this red is the top score, and with compared to other teams from around the world, our team came up with very good results. Then there was the overall survival prediction problem, where we use machine learning because the number of data was small. So we use the radiomic features, which are as follows: the first order gray level statistic, shape, gray level co-occurrence matrix, gray level run length matrix. And these are some of the qualitative results and quantitative results of segmentation and survival prediction. And finally, we talk about the diabetic retinopathy. Now, diabetic retinopathy is a very wide problem all over the country, because India is the diabetes capital of the world. And in this work, we have collaboration with the Sankara Nethralaya and Dr. Mohan's institute in Chennai. So diabetic retinopathy, these slides, the basic medical slides are from my collaborators. So diabetic retinopathy is of two kinds, and it is very important to screen it very early, because if you can detect it early, then you can cure it or hold it there. It is an irreversible process. So if you are unable to detect it, it causes permanent blindness. So this non-proliferative diabetic retinopathy, it has 3 stages: mild, moderate, and severe. It's better to catch it here other than in this part where it is proliferative and the eye is severely damaged. And there it is just permanent blindness. So it is always very useful to, therefore mobile applications become very useful, so that the villagers can be, the image of the eye can be taken in mobile apps, let's say by the ASHA workers, and transmitted to the ophthalmologists in the cities. So only the tragedy is that only 5 to 10% of the diabetic retinopathy is sight threatening and is referable to ophthalmologists for further management. But unfortunately, the village people, they don't want to go to the doctor. They think it is cataract, they think it is eyesight problem, power, when diabetes has possibly attacked them and diabetic retinopathy has occurred. So it's very, very important to track these remote village population. That's why mobile app and digital health is very important. And 90 to 95% of the diabetic retinopathy management is possible by good systematic control. A multifactorial approach of targeting sugar control is of hyperglycemia, blood pressure, dyslipidemia, along with lifestyle changes. Now, the tragedy is that 90% of the vision loss due to diabetic retinopathy is preventable by early detection and timely treatment of the sight-threatening DR. And all individuals with diabetes require regular and repetitive annual retinal screening. The difficulty of the problem in India is that there are about 22,000 ophthalmologists in India, but over 74 million people with diabetes to be screened annually. So automated approach becomes very important, involving a computer-based analysis of the fundus images, so that the burden of the health system in screening for diabetic retinopathy can be reduced. So this was what we did actually. So there were different pathologies which form in the fundus image. So these are like microaneurysms, hemorrhage, soft exudate, hard exudate, and depending on the density of the occurrence on the retina and how many, there are 4 quadrants in the circular eye. So how many of the quadrants are affected, that determines the grade of the diabetic retinopathy. So these are some of the outputs we have. I'm not going into the results. And then today, digital twin is also very much used. It is a virtual representation of an object or system designed to reflect a physical object accurately. It spans the object's life cycle, is updated from real-time data, and uses simulation, machine learning, and reasoning to help make decisions. So you see, in digital twin, you can work on the digital version of the twin, not on the real brain. Let's say you are doing brain operation. So you can do whatever you want to do on the digital version, digital twin, instead of harming the real brain. And once you have decided what you have to do, you can work on the actual place. So that is the advantage. So with that, I end.